Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Felix from Felix's Courier and Delivery Digest. In this video, I'm sitting down with my boy, Jeff. We had Jeff on the channel many times over the past few years, and a lot of you guys like the information that Jeff has. Jeff seems to really connect with you guys because the feedback is always incredible. And as you guys know, I'm back with weekly uploads. So I reached out to Jeff. We're putting together something where we're going to upload a bunch of videos, reintroduce everybody to the courier business and the courier information, and give our take on how you guys can become successful couriers. We're going to be dropping a handful of videos, but this is the first video. So Jeff, welcome back to the video. I think this is like the first video we did in coming up on almost 2 years. I've been off YouTube for a while, didn't really have the motivation or energy to make content, but every time me and you sit down and we cook up some content, man, it's always great, always gets great feedback. We help a bunch of people, and dude, it gets tons of views. I think me and you combined on my channel, we have close to like 1 million views on all of our videos. So what's up, bro? How's everything? How have you been? And just introduce yourself, bro.
Yeah, my name is Jeff Doris, and I live in Tampa, Florida, and I work as a courier. So if you don't know what that means, it basically means that you're a taxi driver for boxes. You're going to pick up a box from point A and then go to point B and then deliver it. That's about the best explanation I could give you.
Okay, cool. So we have a few questions here for Jeff. So Jeff basically explained it as, just a carrier for boxes. Like I've said in previous videos, you're basically picking up a box from point A and you're taking it to point B. This is a great industry because, as more commerce exists in this world, this isn't a business that's going to like slow down. Like you hear about these internet businesses or these things online that over time slow down. This is probably only going to get more popular, bigger, and more opportunity. Would you agree, Jeff?
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, if every time I turn on the news, I keep seeing about big companies doing layoffs, Intel and UPS and all these big companies every week are laying people off. Chrysler just said they were laying people off. Kellogg's are laying people off. So with this gig, you can kind of be kind of like a bit of entrepreneurship where you can kind of be your own boss. You can make up your own schedule and you can kind of make money on demand. When you want to work, there's work for you to do. And when you want to be off, you can be off. If something's going on, if you have to, watch your kid or you have something going on, you can just be off that day. So that's the best part about being a courier is having a kind of a flexible schedule and get to kind of be your own boss instead of having to depend on a company to provide work for you.
Okay, yeah, totally agree. So many companies are really laying workers off. Like, I mean, they're probably just trying to downsize and at the same time grow, but save money. When they got an employee where they're paying them, 80,000 a year, benefits, dental, all these things, that's a real big expense. Or they could pay somebody like 100, 150, $200 for a few hours of work. It's going to be a huge, saver on their books at the end of the year. So Jeff, the next question I have for you is if someone's kind of just hearing about this courier industry, this courier job, this courier business, what do they need to know? Like, what is it that they need to know about this courier business?
What do you need to know? Well, being a courier is not hard. Think about, every time that you go from a destination from point A to point B, you're basically doing a similar thing. Let's say you're going to the grocery store, you're going to the laundromat, you're picking your kid up from school. It's the same type of thing. You're driving from point A to point B, and you're just transporting boxes. So you may have an app, and so for example, I may pull my phone out and I'll text the dispatch and say, "Hey, driver 30, I'm available for work." They'll text me back and say, "This is the work that we have available. Do you want to work?" And it may say on the app like, "Hey, you need to pick up this box in Orlando and then bring it back to Tampa and drop it off. They'll pay you $100 for that one box." But I mean, very easily you could go there and they may say, "Hey, we noticed you're in Orlando. We need you to go to the East Coast in Melbourne. That box may be $165." Then you may go from Melbourne and go to Gainesville, and they may have another box in Gainesville. That might be another $100. So you can add it up and easily make, 400 or 500 bucks in a day in probably 5 or 6 hours. So the most important thing about being a courier is just being available for work. I usually work at nighttime because there's not a lot of traffic between maybe 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning to try to avoid traffic. And that's probably the biggest tip I could give you is just try to work when there's not a lot of traffic on the road.
Yeah, so kind of like beat out the traffic and then beat out the other people that aren't willing to work. I remember you told me this in a previous video we did a while back where you like to work like weekends, you like to work like holidays, you like to work those hours and those shifts and that opportunity when everybody's either like home relaxing. And obviously, you know, certain situations play certain situations, maybe you can't. But I think if you're able to put yourself out there, and I said in a video I just made, like, you know, I think if you have great work ethic, great communication, and great integrity, and you're willing to put in the work, you're going to put yourself past like 100 other people who are also really looking for career work, but not actually willing to do the work that's necessary to put yourself ahead. Would you agree?
Yeah, man, I make most of my money working nights and weekends and holidays when nobody else wants to work. But it's just, it's just a different situation. You might have, family in town. You might have to have a babysitter to watch your kids or whatever. It just depends on the situation. But me personally, I make most of my money working nights, weekends, and holidays, and no one else wants to work. They may message me and say, "Hey, we need you to come pick up this package. Are you available for work?" It's just say yes or no. But the great thing about working as a courier is you could work full time, you could work part time. Let's say if you have a regular 9 to 5 job and you just wanted to look for something to do on the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can do that. Maybe you work during the day, then you get off from work at 5 o'clock. And you're looking for something to do between 5 and 10. If that's what the only hours you're available, you can do that. If you just want to work day shift, if you have kids in school and you're like, hey, I'm going to swing by, drop my kid off in the morning at 8 o'clock, and when they get out of school at 3 in the afternoon, I'll log off my app and I'm done for the day. It's up to you. That's the best part about it is it's a very flexible schedule. You work when you want to work and you're off when you need to be off. But if you're motivated and you want to make money, I've shown you guys on my channel where I've made $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 a week as a courier. You kind of need to be available for work. It's like if I'm available to work 7 days and you say you're only available to work 3 days, which one of us is going to make more money, right? Me, because I'm available to work 7 days. You said you only wanted to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I was just like, hey, I'm willing to work Monday through Sunday. I'm available to work 7 days, so obviously I'm going to make more money because I'm available to work 4 days, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. Now, one of the biggest questions we get, Jeff, and we have gotten over the course of all the videos we've made together is, how did you find work? And then how do other people find work? Billy Bob is watching this video, whoever's watching this video, and they're like, all right, I like Jeff, I like Felix, I want to do this courier business, I want to get a courier position. How do they go about doing it? You don't have to tell them the exact company you work for, but point them in the right direction on how you did it and how they could do something similar.
Well, I've shown you in a previous video. What you can do is you can look online. What I did is I went on. I live in Tampa, so I just Googled Tampa Craigslist, and I typed in. I went to the job section and typed in the word courier, and there was probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 different courier companies that were hiring in my city. But you could also go on Indeed. You could go to Google and just go to Google Maps and type in courier companies, and it will show you different courier companies in your area that's hiring. I mean, probably just here in Tampa alone, there's probably 50, 60 different companies that are companies here in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Sarasota, and Orlando. There's a bunch of different companies. So what you need to do is I just signed up with a courier company, and they're the dispatcher, and they will let you know when they have work available. And whenever you want to work, you can work. You want to be off, you can be off. But it's not that difficult. Like I said, I would check Craigslist, check Indeed, you could check Career Builder, you could check Monster, you could just go to Google and just start calling courier companies and say, hey, I'm a courier. You guys need a courier driver. I'm a 1099 independent contractor. Do you have work available? And then once you get tapped in with a courier company, they would just start sending you work. Now, when you first get started, you're kind of having to build up rapport, kind of like you're meeting somebody a first time that they don't know how good of a driver you are, you don't know how great of a company they are, and you're just kind of filling each other out. So they're going to give you a little work, little by little by little. But after, I don't know, a month, 2, 3 months of you working with that company, they'll start giving you more and more work that they know you can handle. But yeah, that's what I would do. And like I said, I would check out Craigslist, check out Indeed, go online and just go to Google and search it. I mean, I can pull up my phone right here and show you. I could just type in right here on my phone. I just typed in courier company, courier company.
Yeah, so if you guys are
I just typed
liking information that Jeff is dropping right now, be sure to tap a like on the video. He's giving serious game. Go ahead, Jeff. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
here on my phone, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is just Google Maps, and I just typed in right here courier service company. So every one of these little red dots on Google Maps are all courier companies. And then right here, here's one right here called Crosstown Courier. And then right here on the screen, you can see it tells you the address, the phone number, where they're located at. And I would just hit this button right here and just call them and say, hey, I'm an independent courier. I'm looking for work. I noticed the Crosstown Couriers. Are you guys hiring independent contractors, 1099? And then I would just hit that button and call them. And then as soon as they're going to say, yes, we have work available, or no, we don't. And then if not, you can say, hey, do you have any other recommendations of companies that I could work for? And just try it out and see what works best for you.
Got you. Now, a lot of people want to know, like, I'm going to put this question kind of like two in one. People want to know, like, some people are going to be doing this, like, part-time, maybe full-time, maybe on the weekends, but like, explain the opportunity is that if it's there and in your experience, like, can you do this full-time? Because, some people got jobs they hate, they're tired of, they want some financial and, not only financial freedom, but also time freedom. How much can be made? Say somebody finds a good company, they're working 4, 5, 6 days a week. In your personal experience, can you make a full-time income being a courier?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I've shown you my paycheck stuff. I made $5 grand in 2 weeks. I've made 10 grand before in a month. It just depends on how much work you're willing to put in and how much you're willing to hustle. But if you just want to do this big part time, you can make some good money as well. I've shown you before where I've worked for 5 hours and made $565 in 5 hours, and they had the other 19 hours out of my day free to, go to the gym, go to the park, go hang out with your friends, whatever you want to do. So you don't have to be locked into this, I have to work, 40 hours a week model. If you just want to work 4 or 5 hours a day, you could do that. Like I said, I've shown you paycheck stuff in the past where I've said, here's $5 grand that I made in 2 weeks. I made 10 grand more in a month. So it's definitely doable, but it all just kind of depends on maybe kind of like your availability and your work ethic and what you're willing to do. Not everybody wants to work 7 days a week. Not everybody wants to put in 8 or 10 hours a day, but that's cool. You can jump in there and say, hey, I just want to work 5 hours today, make my $500, and be home in the air conditioning and go home and play video games. Whatever works best for you.
Understood. Now, the last question, just to wrap this video up, if you had to say like one thing, like what is your favorite thing about the courier industry? And then if you want any other things that maybe they should know, but if you had to kind of just wrap it up, like about what's your favorite thing about the courier industry, what would it be?
My favorite thing about work for the courier company is just having a flexible schedule. I mean, I get to kind of be my own boss and have a flexible schedule. When I'm in a vehicle by myself, I don't have a supervisor breathing down my neck telling me what to do all the time. And it's up to you. They can text you and say, hey, they might text me and say, hey, Jeff, we have a work for you available in Tampa to go to Gainesville and back. I have the option. I can say no. I have a flat tire. I don't feel good. I don't want to work today. I could just be off. Just having that flexibility. Where if you were working a regular 9 to 5 job, you only have so many vacation days and so many sick days and personal days. When those days run out, you got to get up and go to work. There's none of this gray area where it's like, nah, I don't feel like going to work today. That's probably the best thing about it, is just having a flexible schedule of you kind of being your own boss and kind of determining when you want to work and when you don't want to be at work. I mean, I've had days before where I've said, hey, I got to pick my little brother up at the airport, and I'll pick him up and drop him off and say, well, I'm going to be free after 5 o'clock. And I'll just text the dispatcher and say, hey, driver 30, I'm available for work, and then I can work. And then if I have something come up and I need to be off, let's say at 8, I can say, hey, I'm logging off for the day at 8 o'clock. Then I just text the dispatcher and let them know, and they're like, cool. There's not like, you're not stuck to a stringent schedule. You don't have a boss breathing down your neck, and you can kind of have that flexible schedule and work when you want to work and be off when you want to be off. And there's other gigs out there like that, maybe like Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or Uber Eats, but they're not paying you, $2,000-$3,000. You know what I mean? You got to kind of get in there and get your feet wet and try it out.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Uber, we already know like Uber, you're gonna basically be just breaking even with this. And I've met Jeff in real life multiple times. Maybe we'll be able to link up again in the future, but I've seen his paycheck stubs where it's showing like $2,500, $3,000 a week. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here, Jeff. Thank you for joining me back on the channel. Always had great feedback, and everybody's always enjoyed the value and content you've brought. Again, thank you for joining me on the channel. If you guys like this video, be sure to drop a like on it. We're going to do a whole series kind of bringing back my channel, bringing back some courier content, and bringing back some additional new 2024 and 2025 and beyond game from Jeff himself. So Jeff, any final words you want to say, man?
No, just thanks for having me on. And guys, there's money to be made out there if you're willing to hustle. So if you're willing to put the work in, you can make the money. You don't have to be stuck working a $15, $20 an hour job and be struggling. Let's say you make $20 an hour and you work 40 hours a week. That's 800 bucks after taxes. You're going to bring home what? Maybe $600 a week. With this gig, you can make $500 to $600 in a day. So it's kind of up to you. You want to work all week and make $600 in a week, or do you want to shrink in that and say, I want to make $600 in a day? And that's available to you. You're not stuck into that 9 to 5 schedule. But thank you for having me, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you again soon in the future.
All right. Thank you, Jeff, for joining me on the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.